guys, welcome back to the channel. It is so nice to have you here. Welcome. My name is Divyanka, and on this channel, I want to talk about everything that is going to help us live our best and most productive life. I'm sure almost all of us create a to-do list for our daily tasks in hopes of getting everything done and having the most productive day, only to find out at the end of the day that we didn't even get through 1, 2, or 3 of our most important tasks. And then at the end of the day, we feel like absolute crap about ourselves because we haven't done what we wanted to. And it's just a never-ending cycle. I have been there, done that. But honestly, recently I have created a system for my to-do list that I actually somehow make my way through. And so in this video, I want to talk about 10 tips on actually getting those things done that are on your to-do list. The first tip I have is to keep it super simple. I actually think this is key, and this is why I place it at number 1, because I have tried kind of all the methods, like the fancy super digital to-do lists, getting a million planners, writing it all out super pretty. Like, I have done my fair share of all of that, and the only time it truly works is when it's simple. If it's a system I can manage every single day, if it's something I can see all the time, it really does help. And if it takes more effort to maintain that to-do list or to look at it or just to make sure I make my way through it, it's not going to happen because that's a task in and of itself. So when it comes to the system that you use or how you actually go about your to-do list, the things that you list, all of the things that are involved in this to-do list, make sure to keep it super, super simple. So how I do it and how I keep it simple is I just use the Google Tasks feature in my Google Calendar, and that is my whole productivity system. It is a super, super simple task manager, and you just write your tasks, you can move them super easy. Everything's in one place. There's no rocket science to it. And honestly, that simplicity makes it so I actually get through that list. So that is how I manage my simplicity and the system that works for me. Whatever system works for you, make sure to just keep it super, super simple. And I guarantee you that will probably better set you up for success in actually getting those things done. My second tip is to find an accountability partner. Now, this can be anyone, a coworker, a friend, a family member, but just someone who's kind of on that same level of, okay, I need to get XYZ done today, and who's going to talk to you about that kind of stuff. So even if it's not your best friend, because that's not who you talk to about that kind of stuff, that's okay. For me, it's generally my sister. I can tell her every day, generally, this is what I want to do, and especially if it's something that's important, I ask her to check on me. I ask her to ask me at a certain time, like, look, just ask me if I've done this task. And if I haven't, or if I haven't made progress on my to-do list, there is someone there who's asking me about it and who's keeping me sort of accountable. Now, at the end of the day, we're all only accountable for ourselves, but having this kind of buddy system where you ask them how they're doing on their productivity and they're asking you how your to-do list is going is actually really, really going to help you increase how much you do in your day. Accountability works for a lot of things: eating right, the gym, doing all these things that we know we're supposed to do, but we just lazy out of. So your to-do list is definitely one of those things. Try to have someone who can at least check in with you once a day to be like, yo, how's your to-do list going? My next tip is to identify your priorities. For most of us, if we don't know our priorities, our goals in life, it's easy to feel lost. So the same thing goes for our every single day. If you don't know your priority for that day, what you absolutely need to get done to feel accomplished, you're not going to feel accomplished because you don't even know what that priority is. So within your to-do list, set your priority or priorities. Name the top 2, 3 things that you must add a priority, get done that day. And that way, when you know that, when you've made it clear that, okay, I must get this done today, it is a priority, it will most likely happen. And once you check off those priorities, you can feel more accomplished about your day. It doesn't matter if the other things don't happen. If these top 1, 2, 3 things happen, you are good to go. So try to make that a system that works for you. As you create your to-do list every single day, make sure you make those priorities clear, either by starring them, putting at the top, whatever system works for you. know what those 1 to 3 things are that you absolutely must get done that day. Now, my next tip is something that really works wonders for me. Review your list at the beginning and at the end of the day. Like I mentioned, I use a digital system, so what I do is at the end of my workday or at the end of my day before I wind down to go to sleep, I look at my to-do list and move anything that I didn't do that day over to the next day, and if it's not relevant anymore, either cross it off because I've done it or just delete it because, again, it's not relevant anymore. And when I wake up the next morning, I do the same exact thing, either on my way to the gym or whatever I'm doing. I have a look at my to-do list to see, okay, what do I need to do next? After I get ready, what are the first, second things I need to do? And this is so helpful because it helps me frame my mindset around those things. If I review it in the morning, I'm thinking about those things as I'm at the gym or as I'm showering, and it is going to help you be better at doing those tasks. You know what you have to go into next. Your mindset is getting ready for it, and you're going to perform better at that task. And I do mix all my to-dos, so whether it's work related or YouTube related or personal related, it's all on the same list, and I know when I need to do each thing. So anyway, reviewing that list at the beginning and at the end of the day really helps you frame your mindset while you're going to sleep, when you're waking up. You wake up with more intention when you do this, and I feel like you can sleep more peacefully because you know what you accomplished that day. You can see it on your to-do list because you just reviewed it, and you know what you're up for the next day. So it is helpful in so many ways, and honestly, having a simple system and reviewing my to-do list at the beginning and end of my day has helped me honestly so much. My next tip is, while you are going through your to-do list throughout your day, really try to focus on just one task. And this can be really difficult, especially if your tasks kind of overlap, and then of course with other distractions that we have in our life. But it is really necessary because that is when you're actually going to get the most out of your time. You're going to do the best that you can at that task, and it will get done in the shortest amount of time possible. You're concentrated, your energy is going only to this one thing, and again, it will help you actually get that thing done to then move on to the next thing. And if you're focused on every task, then you're actually going to get through your whole to-do list throughout your day. And so this works wonders. Whatever you need to do to kind of zone in, make sure you're doing that. And it's really helpful, especially because when you're mindful about that, you can kind of catch yourself. If you're getting distracted, you can be like, okay, nope. My energy, my time, my concentration has to be right here, right now. And I do catch myself doing that a lot. So if you have this framework, it is really helpful in actually checking all those things off on your to-do list. My next tip is to do what's right for you in the way of how you approach your tasks. For some people, this is going to be doing the hardest thing at the beginning of the day and then making the easier tasks saved for later. Now, for some, the opposite is going to work, where you want to do all the little tasks so you can cross off more on your to-do list, feel a little more accomplished, see all those strike-throughs, and then get to the deeper, harder work later. Whatever system works for you, do that, know yourself, but take one of those few approaches because there's a benefit to both. If you get your hardest thing done first thing in the morning, first thing as you approach your day, the other tasks are going to seem way easier. It's going to be like a breeze to do those things because you've gotten the hard stuff over with. So that can be really beneficial if you're just in a rut. You just have all these things that are on your mind, but you just don't want to initiate on this task because it's hard. Like, it's going to take so much brain power and so much energy, and you just don't want to get into it. Just carve yourself some time, get it over with, and then the rest of your day will seem super easy. Now, on the contrary, if you want to get all your littler tasks, your easier tasks done at the beginning of your day in the first few hours, it's going to seem like you just did so much in the first few hours of your day, and now you can concentrate on the harder tasks. And again, that's just how our mind works. If we see all of our to-dos kind of crossed out, if you see 75% of them crossed out because they were small tasks that you just needed to get done, it'll make you feel more accomplished, better, and then you can approach your other tasks with that mindset. So again, I don't know what's going to work for you. I honestly have days where I do a mix of both. Like, some days I just am in a rut and want to do the hardest thing and just get it over with. Or I have other days where I'm like, you know what, I just don't even want to approach that. Let me just get all the little things done and then we'll get to that later. And so you might be like that. It might just be day dependent, but really try to approach it like that, because that mindset in and of itself will actually help you get more things done on that to-do list. The next tip I have is in regards to how you actually write your to-dos on your list. Now, you really want to make sure you break down every single task into as simple of a task as you can. And what I mean by that is you don't just want to write arbitrary tasks like work on this project or record YouTube videos or just something, again, super big, super arbitrary. That's not actually going to help you get that task done. Break it down. If you have to work on your project, make it 5 different tasks. I have to plan for my project. I have to create the project. I need to do my research on the project. I need to do XYZ. There's a million parts to it, right? So actually break it down and make each one a task. Or for YouTube, like I need to script my video. I need to plan my video. I need to actually film my video. I need to edit my video. And what video is it? Maybe I need to do 2 that day. So actually naming each task is going to be really beneficial in all the things that I already talked about. So if you know that that task is as broken down as possible, it is one thing that you need to do. And that's going to help you focus on that one thing. You're not like, okay, I have to do this project. And then you're in your head thinking about all the different 10 steps. No, they're already laid out. You just have to pick one task, do it right then and there, and your energy doesn't have to go anywhere else. This also helps because it helps you be targeted with your time, so you don't actually have to put more effort other than just looking at your to-do list. And again, this is going to help you be efficient. So you don't have to put any extra brain work into it. You just look at it and you're like, yep. So you're like a machine. You just look at it and you do it, and you look at it and you do it. And in that way, it is 100% going to help you be way more efficient with that to-do list. Lastly, this is helpful because of that mindset and just how humans work, like I just talked about. Because each of those tasks are separate things, as you go through your day and as you complete each one thing, you're going to be crossing off all those things, and that is going to make you feel so accomplished. If you just do a project, you're going to just cross that off when the whole project is done. And even if that contained like 10 steps, you only gave yourself credit mentally for 1. So it just helps in so many ways to really break it down, make your to-do list so simple that anyone could look at it and know what they have to do. You want to make it like that. You want to make it easy on yourself. Do the thinking while you're creating the list, not when you're actually doing the task, because that's when we avoid doing things and then it's just not going to get done. The next tip is to add it to your calendar. Making time for these tasks is also just as essential. If you just write a list out, but then your day is packed with meetings, then when do you expect to do all these things? So like I mentioned, for me, my tasks and my calendar sit on the same place. So more often than not, I either drag those tasks into the calendar itself and block off time, or block off general time to do a group of to-dos. However you want to do it, make sure you have time in your day set out in your calendar to actually get these things done. Again, it's part of being intentional about it. You want to make sure that you're actually preparing yourself for success to actually get these things done, and adding time to your calendar, making sure you are carving out specific time is 100% going to help you in actually getting things done. The next tip I have for you guys is to clear your head. Sometimes we're just like, oh my God, there are so many things to do. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to begin on my to-do list. And then you list a million things and then it never happens because there's just so much to do and it's just not clear. So clear your head. Now this can be through a master to-do list. I do that sometimes. It's more of like a brain dump where you just write out a list of the 50 things you need to do, get it all out of your head, and then organize it from there. So I actually have a master to-do list where it's like bigger projects, like that's gonna take weeks or months or things I need to think about in the future and do eventually, but it doesn't have to be like a small daily thing. And then I have my daily to-do list, like I've mentioned. So sometimes once a month, every 2 months, whatever you need, make a kind of dump to-do list or just a brain dump, a list, however you want to do it. Get everything out of your head so you're not overwhelmed. And then divide that all into, okay, this is what needs to get done today. This is what we need to approach tomorrow. This can happen next week, etc. Once your mind is clear, you can actually perform the tasks and actually understand what actually needs to get done. I just said actually like a million times. But again, it makes you more clear on your priorities, on your intentions, what you need to get done, and what's like a, okay, I really need to do this, but just not right now type of thing. You just don't want it to take headspace. It's your head needs to be used for other things, like actually doing the task, not actually housing your to-do list. So sometimes a brain dump is necessary if you catch yourself being overwhelmed or just don't know where to start. Just start with a brain dump, take out a piece of paper, or write a note on your computer, get it all out, and then create an actually refined to-do list from that. My next and last tip is to batch like items. Now, batching is not a concept I created at all, and I do this all the time, and it really does help me get everything done. So in terms of batching like tasks, you want to do things that are similar to each other while you're in that mindset. So as I'm calendar blocking, I don't necessarily like list out all the little things that I have to do because that's on my to-do list. But for instance, I'll block off some time to make all the phone calls that I need to make. I'll block off some time to do all the writing that I need to do. I'll block off some time to do all the emails I need to do. I'll block off some time to do the videos that I need to create all at once. So again, it's making sure that you're doing the tasks that are similar to each other in that same time frame, because you don't want to go from needing to do a phone call to then writing something and changing that mindset and then going back and taking another phone call and doing this and doing that. It's just not really helpful for efficiently actually getting through your to-do list. So try to do that as much as possible. And sometimes, of course, that's avoidable. But again, it is good practice to try to do this because our mind just takes time to adjust. So you don't want to have to keep adjusting and adding time and inefficiency to all the things you need to get done, because you just want to go on to the good parts of your day and get everything done and feel nice. So batching like tasks really, really does help. Those were all my 10 tips in making sure you get through that to-do list every single day so you feel accomplished, so you're moving forward in life, and so you are living your best and most productive life. I personally use all of these tips as I kind of explained, and some days some more than others, but these are things that you should always keep in your mind and really experiment with. Know what works for you. Figure out what works for you. And like I mentioned, keep it super simple. Help yourself out. You don't need another to-do added onto your long list of to-dos anyway. So keep it simple, help yourself, and make sure that you're actually setting yourself up to feel accomplished and to cross off all those to-dos. That is it for today's video. As always, I hope this was super, super helpful. If you guys have any other tips to add, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I would love to read them. I'm sure it'd be helpful to other people. We're here to live that best life, and the more the merrier in terms of tips to help us do that. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for staying and watching. If you guys are interested in more content like this, please go ahead and subscribe and like this video. It really does help with all the YouTube algorithm stuff. That is it for today, and you guys will see me in the next video.